Hey everybody, thanks so much for joining us here on 9 News Watch for a detailed look at your Colorado weather forecast. I'm Meteorologist Chris Bianchi. So all eyes on that snow event for tomorrow. And a lot of the emphasis, again, going to be on that threat for some very heavy snow during that commute tomorrow morning. So that snow first develops overnight, probably before dawn, somewhere between about 3 and 6 a.m. here in Denver. A little earlier than that, a bit further north up by Fort Collins and Loveland. And that snow, again, develops overnight. So that snow will hold off until tomorrow morning because, well, partially a couple of things. One, it's sunny outside right now. And two, temperatures right now in the low to mid 40s for us here in Denver. Obviously way too warm for snow, but we're going to get two cold fronts that will push the way on through the eastern plains of Colorado as we get into your day tomorrow. And that will drop these temperatures by about 15 degrees, if not a bit more than that, for your day tomorrow. We won't get out of the 20s for tomorrow. Now today, clouds start to increase probably towards the late afternoon hours, around 3, 4, 5 o'clock or so. Temperatures top out right around 50 degrees for us here in town. It's a little bit breezy at times, 5 to 15 mile an hour winds, but then again, all eyes on tomorrow morning with 2 to 5 inches worth of snowfall for us here in Denver. Higher amounts as you head west of I-25, a little lower than that, maybe as you head just east of 25, so maybe Aurora, DIA, kind of the maybe the Aurora racetrack area, Centennial maybe a bit closer to about 3, 4 inches as opposed to those 4, 5, 6 inches west of I-25 out by Lakewood and Wheat Ridge. I'll have more details on those specifics in just a second, but the story again will be that rough morning commute. So here's what you need to know. Heavy snow during the morning commute. I actually got this question on email a few minutes ago from Doug, a kind viewer who wrote in saying that they don't usually close schools for 2 to 5 inches worth of snowfall here in Colorado. And generally speaking, that would definitely be right. The problem, again, for tomorrow is that heaviest snowfall will be taking place during the commute. So between about 8 and 10 is when we're looking at that heavy snow coming on down, which means if they delay schools, that could, in fact, mean that we're talking about that heaviest snowfall taking place right as kids are potentially heading to school. So again, the exact timing here is going to be key, but again, the big concern to me is going to be that morning rush, and then things really calm on down by about 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock or so during the afternoon. All right, so let's kind of walk you through that hour by hour forecast as we head through the early morning hours tomorrow. By about 1 a.m., we're seeing those first flakes starting to fly in far northern Colorado, northern Weld, northern Larimer counties, maybe even starting to see a few of those flakes trickle on down into western Boulder County, Arapahoe County, Morgan County, seeing a few of those flakes out here as well. Denver, probably cloudy by 1, 2 a.m. or so, but then by about 3, 4, 5, 6 a.m., those first flakes start to fly here in Denver. And by sunup, by about 6:30, 7 o'clock or so, that snow is going to be falling pretty steadily here in town. And then that heaviest snowfall moves its way on through between about 8 and 10 o'clock in the morning. So again, look at the scene at 10 a.m. It's snowing all around the metro area. And that is part of the concern. I would emphasize, if it were up to me, if I was a school administrator and you were asking me, a meteorologist, what to do about school tomorrow, my emphasis would be on canceling school because, again, notice this by 10 o'clock. This would be about the time when kids would be heading into school during a potential delay time. And you're looking at that snow still falling pretty steadily, pretty heavily around most of the metro area, so not too much relief if you delay schools. Then by 1 o'clock, still snowing, not as hard. By about midday or so, that snow really does start to back on off. And by sundown tomorrow, by about 4 or 5 o'clock, it's all over and done with here across the metro area. By Wednesday morning, we're much calmer now. Snowfall amounts 2 to 5 inches for us here in Denver. Again, east of I-25, probably looking at slightly lower amounts or amounts towards the bottom end of that range, so probably 2, 3, 4 inches for Aurora, for City Park, for example, for Montbello, for DIA, for Green Valley Ranch. Those areas, again, probably about 3, 4, 5 inches for you. 3 or 4 inches will be probably the theme for you. West of I-25, you're probably looking at 4 or 5, maybe even 6 inches. Lakewood, Arvada, especially the west side of Arvada, Golden, certainly, Morrison, Evergreen, Idalia. That's where you're looking at, again, closer to 4, 5, 6 inches. And then you get on up in the foothills a little bit. You head on up by Conifer, by Bailey, and that's where you're certainly looking at the possibility for 5 to 10 inches. And something's going to come in here with 10 inches plus worth of snowfall out of this event. But most of the metro area, again, 2 to 5 inches, looks to be a reasonable bet for the majority of us. So again, this is the question I just got a few moments ago from an email on email. Somebody wrote me an email, and it was a fair one, Doug, saying that they usually won't close schools for 2 to 5 inches worth of snowfall. And I agree, but as I just showed you in the hour-by-hour forecast, it's not necessarily the snowfall amounts, it's the timing of the snowfall that is really going to be concerning and leading to higher impacts than you might normally get with a 2 to 5 inch type of snowfall. Now, statewide, we get those snow showers moving their way on throughout the day tomorrow. The mountains getting on some of this action as well. Probably the heaviest of the snowfall, though, will be in the foothills and into the Denver areas. We're only going to get a bit of snow for us here into the mountains. Not exactly a game-changing storm for us here into the mountains as it's moving north and south. It's not usually a great direction for most of the mountains to get their big snows, but we get a little bit into the mountains, and that'll, I'm sure, make some of the skiers a bit happier. Now, snowfall again for your day tomorrow, 2 to 5 inches. For us, it is colder. And with a high of around 29 degrees, that should give us pretty high snow ratios. So the amount of liquid compared to the snow that accumulates will be a bit on the higher side because it's going to be pretty cold for your day tomorrow. Warm back up again as we get into your Wednesday with high of 43. And then a few snow showers work their way back into the picture as we get into your Thursday. That system, though, on Thursday doesn't look to be nearly as impactful as the one for your day tomorrow, with just probably a dusting to an inch or so of snow for us here into Denver. A few isolated snow showers move their way on through probably towards the morning hours on your Thursday. But we'll have more details on that once we get past this current storm. By the way, look at that weekend back into the 50s. So if you're looking for some of that warmer weather, you get it. You just got to wait a few more days. So that'll do in terms of that forecast for us as we head through the next 24 to 36 hours, and also that 7-day forecast as well. Again, all emphasis on that morning commute for your day tomorrow. Thanks for joining us here on 9 News Watch for a detailed look at your forecast. Meteorologist Danielle Grant will have your full forecast at 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10 on the 9 News family of networks. In the meantime, have a great rest of your day.